Okay, we're doing Birkat Kohanim part B.
Yeah.
When the Kohen, when the time that the Chazan reaches Retzeh, the Kohen has to do Akirat Raglaim. He has to pick up his feet and go towards the Duchan, towards the place that he's going to be doing the Birkat Kohanim. The problem is that one needs to also wash his hands. So the halacha says that he needs to pick up his feet in order to go to the Duchan, not to wash his hands in the back of the room or in a different room. So what should we do? So lechatchila, the best thing is to go before Retzeh to do Netilat Yadayim, and then when the Chazan is already by Retzeh, before he reaches Modim, he's on the way to the Duchan. If he doesn't do that, at least he should do it right away by Retzeh, as soon as possible, right when the Chazan starts Retzeh, so he has enough time. He does Netilat Yadayim, and he goes back. He should not go and do Akirat Raglaim after the Chazan starts Modim. Once he started Modim, he can't do Birkat Kohanim anymore. He lost out on the mitzvah. So therefore, again, the best thing would be before the Kohen has to go and do Netilat Yadayim. This way, he's already on the way before the Chazan reaches Modim. If he didn't do that, at least by Retzeh, he should right away pick up his feet and go do Netilat Yadayim. He didn't do that, and he thinks that he won't have enough time to do Netilat Yadayim and go towards the Duchan before Modim, before the Chazan reaches Modim. So at least what he should do is starts walking towards the Duchan, and then once he starts that, it's considered already that he started. He can go back and do Netilat Yadayim and come to the Duchan afterwards. As long as this was done before Modim, it's fine. You should do it before Modim started. In other words, if the Chazan finished already Retzeh, but he didn't start Modim, he still has that time to pick up his feet. So sometimes Kohen hears that the Chazan is already reaching Modim, and he's in the middle of Shmoneh Esrei. He didn't finish at Shmoneh Esrei, so he has time to go very quickly before the Chazan reaches Modim. So that's an important halacha that the Kohen must know. What happens if the Kohen is the only Chazan? He's the Chazan. He's the only Kohen in the shul. That happens. It happened many times that you call up a Chazan to be you call up the Kohen to be a Chazan, and he's the only Kohen in the shul. What do you do then? If there's more Kohanim, then the minhag is that other Kohanim should say Birkat Kohanim and not the Chazan. But if he's the only one, and he knows for sure that if he does Birkat Kohanim, he can go back and continue the Chazarat Hashatz without getting confused, because it could be confusing, especially when they didn't have Sidurim. When they didn't have Sidurim, things were much more confusing. Today, you have a Sidur, it's more likely that you go back to the right place and continue. So if a person knows himself and he knows for sure that he can go back, so the halacha is that he is permitted to do Birkat Kohanim during the Chazara, even though he is the Chazan. How does he do it? So the Chalitzat Minalim, when does he take off his shoes? There is a machloket of whether it's better to take off the shoes right before Birkat Kohanim. This way he prays the Amidah, he prays the Chazarat Hashatz with the shoes, because you have to pray with your shoes. That's halacha. One should not pray Amidah without shoes. That's the way the Amidah, the halacha by Amidah is that you go is the way you go in front of a king. You wouldn't go to a king with your socks or barefoot. You wouldn't go to meet a king. You wouldn't go to meet, if you had a meeting with President Trump, you wouldn't go barefoot or with your socks to meet him. Rather, we choose. So therefore, praying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is כעומד בפני המלך. מקדש זה משהו אחר, כן. מקדש זה משהו אחר, זה הלכה מיוחדת למקדש. כן, זה לא דין בקדושה, זה דין מיוחד שהיה בבית המקדש, שככה היה חובה שלא יהיה חציצה בין הרגליים למקדש. זה לא דין של עמידה בפני המלך. יש כמה דברים שהם לא דין של עמידה בפני המלך. For instance, when a person reads Kriyat Shema, it's not כעומד בפני המלך. He's allowed to read Kriyat Shema with his pajamas. Because Kriyat Shema is קבלת עול מלכות שמיים. When you say bracha, you're allowed to say bracha with your pajamas. But when you're praying שמונה עשרה is כעומד בפני המלך. Also, when you say Birkat Hamazon, it's the same dinim as שמונה עשרה, is כעומד בפני המלך. So therefore, a person should dress respectfully. Even he brought down in the Shulchan Aruch that there's a ma'ala to dress in nice clothing for שמונה עשרה. In other words, a person should not come lechatchila. The best way is that a person should not come from his work while he was working plumbing or whatever it is. His clothing are not very clean or respectful, and be omed amida like that. Or one that came from other jobs and he just comes with his sweatshirt. The best thing is that he should have a respectful clothing set for tefillah. Gdolei Chachamim, it's brought down in the Shulchan Aruch, the Rambam brings down that they had special clothing for tefillah, mitader betefillah. It's כעומד בפני המלך. Part of that is wearing shoes. One should have shoes. Okay? So this is the halacha by El Chazan as well, because he's doing Chazarat Hashatz. You shouldn't pray barefoot. That's what we're saying. Very good. When did you come? He asked this question.
I just came late.
Okay.
You gotta concentrate. Listen what the Chacham said.
But the Mikdash you used to pray on
But we don't have the Mikdash now.
the Mikdash we pray on Mikdash?
אין לנו את המקדש עכשיו.
Mikdash now.
So technically, it's a sur.
It's a sur to pray. Right. For instance, there's a isur to pray. There's a isur to pray with shorts. Slippers is also, it's a problem. You shouldn't pray with slippers. You shouldn't pray with shorts. You shouldn't pray with a tank top, right? Chacham Ovadia has a leniency. He's the only one. He has a leniency that if somebody walks like this in the summer with shorts and short sleeves, so no, that's the way he comes to shul. Let him pray, but he shouldn't go chazan like that. Today everything goes chazan in the middle of Shmoneh Esrei. Take out the phone. Somebody called, somebody texted in the middle of Shmoneh Esrei. Everything goes today, everything goes. But there's halachot, and that is the halacha, okay? So let's go back to our chazan that he happened to be also a kohen. What should he do? What's better? Better for him to take off the shoes before Shmoneh Esrei, or take it off right before doing Birkat Kohanim. So Arav David Yosef is posek that it's better to take it off before Shmoneh Esrei. It's machloket. He says it's better to take off before Shmoneh Esrei. If he didn't, obviously he should take it off before Birkat Kohanim. Make sure that he doesn't touch the shoes. So either he should pull it off with his feet, or put it off, if he can't do that, hold something, let's say a napkin and take it off, or hold the clothing and take it off. Don't touch the shoes directly, because then you'll have to go wash your hands, and it's in the middle of Amidah. If you can't do any of that, you can't take off his shoes without touching it with his hands, he says that it's better to leave the shoes on. Yesterday we mentioned that there are leniencies if one doesn't take off his shoes. There are two reasons you take off the shoes before Birkat Kohanim. We mentioned yesterday one reason is that shoes were very dirty and muddy in their time. Not like today, shoes is davar chashuv. Back then it was very muddy. So it would not look respectful to the Am that one says Birkat Kohanim with muddy, dirty shoes that he came out from outside was not paved. So his shoes were very with sand and mud and whatever it is. That's one reason. The second reason is maybe the lace will open and he'll go down to tie his lace, and people will think that he's not really a Kohen. He's not a Kohen miyuchas. He has a psul keuna. That's why he's not standing with everybody. For those two reasons, the Chachamim said that one should take off his shoes before Birkat Kohanim. Even if your shoes don't have laces, still, lo plug. Chachamim said that that's a takana that any shoes has to be removed. So that's why some leniencies, let's say there's no duchan. Duchan means a higher place. That lechatchila should have had a high place, that the Kohen goes on that high place, so everybody sees the Kohen. But if it's not a high place, so people don't necessarily look at the shoes of the Kohen. There are some leniencies on al derech, these ideas. Okay? The Chazan obviously, our Kohen Chazan also has to do akirat raglaim. So before Retzeh, or when he starts Retzeh, he just picks up his feet. That needs to be done also. It's davar chashuv. And then he goes and he does Birkat Kohanim and he comes back. Okay? Again, that's only if the... Yes. Some I see that they stay in the same place, but the correct thing, if there is a duchan, that he should go to the duchan. Over here in this place, for instance, there's no duchan, so it doesn't really makes a difference. Okay? Next. Let's go now to the kahal. The kahal that's listening to the Birkat Kohanim. The Sefer Charedim brings that the mitzvah of Birkat Kohanim is not only on the Kohen, he's not the only one that's fulfilling the mitzvah taseh to be mevarech the congregation, to give them a bracha, but also Israel bichlal habracha. This is the lashon that he brings. The Biur Halacha brings it down in the beginning of Kuf Kaf Chet. He says the following words: Israel omdim panim keneged pnei hakohanim. Obviously, we spoke yesterday. It needs to be panim keneged panim. It needs to be facing each other. Bishtika, you have to be quiet, not shmooze, not have a conversation right now with your neighbor, the one sitting near you. Mechavnim liban lekabel birkatam. You need to have with an intention to receive the bracha. You have to intend your heart. Kidvar Hashem, it's a mitzvah deoraita. Hem nami bichlal habracha. They're also bichlal habracha. They're also part of that bracha, Birkat Kohanim. What does it mean? So in the Dirshu he brings down a machloket. The Afla says that mamash, just like the Kohanim has a mitzvah deoraita of the Birkat Kohanim, so is Israel. They have also a mitzvah to be mitbarech, mitzvah taseh, mamash mitzvah taseh. This is how the Afla explains. The Maria Sad explains differently. He says no. You are helping out, you're helping out the Kohanim fulfill their mitzvah. So when you're helping out, you're also considered part of that mitzvah. We have the same idea, very famous for those that go to yeshivot and learn Masechet Kiddushin. In the beginning of the second parak of Kiddushin, it says over there that Ish mekadesh ba'u b'shlucho, ve'isha ba'u b'shlucha. The men can do Kiddushin not only when he goes directly to the wife, to the bride, but rather he can send the shliach as well to be mekadesh. Why does it say bo? Mitzvah bo yoter mi b'shlucho. It's more correct. It's bigger mitzvah to do it yourself. By a woman also, mitzvah ba uvishlucha. Mitzvah ba yoter mi b'shlucha. A woman also has greater mitzvah to do it herself than to send a messenger to receive the kiddushin, to receive the kesef kiddushin. So the Rishonim asked the question, the mitzvah for a woman doesn't have a mitzvah to get married, a woman doesn't have a mitzvah of purvu, to multiply, to bring children. It's not a mitzvah for women, it's a mitzvah for the men. Purvu was said for men, because it says purvu vekivshua. Men, ish kovesh velo isha koveshet. Men go to war, not women. So therefore, the mitzvah of purvu is for men, not for a woman. So the Ran answers over there in the beginning of the second parak of Kiddushin that although a woman doesn't have a mitzvah from the Torah of purvu, but since she's helping out the men can't do the mitzvah just by himself. He needs the woman for that. Since she's helping the men fulfill the mitzvah, she's also part of that mitzvah, just by helping. Same idea over here by the Kohanim. Even though the Israel were not commended anything on the bracha, the Charedim says that there are still bichlal bracha. Why? Because they're helping out the Kohen say the bracha. Okay, I see we didn't finish everything today, but Bezrat Hashem more tomorrow. What are you saying? עוד? עוד פעם, אנחנו לא מדברים, עכשיו אנחנו מדברים על פור ורבו? מה אנחנו מדברים על פור ורבו? Oh, so he's asking a very good question. It's not mitzvah aseh shazman gamat to have children, right? You have to have children. It's 24/7, right? So why is a woman exempt? What's the answer? Adachilak. You have to listen to what I said. There's a pasuk. We learned this from the pasuk. Again, the pasuk says purvu, and then it says vekivshua. Chachamim say hu mi kovesh, ish kovesh velo isha koveshet. So the doresh that just like a man is kovesh, the mitzvah purvu is only for the man. Chazak v'baruch.